We're trying to do.
Keyword, try to identify.
That's all. Just try.
But that's not how that works.
Look.
I told him who I was right there.
All right.
It's not stolen stuff. I'm not trying to give him a hard time, but you guys can't just pull people over and say, oh, we got a phone call. Somebody said you were selling stuff. Let me see your ID. There's no traffic stop. For what? There's no legal traffic stop.
Turn, do you not have to signal which way you're going?
On that turnaround right there, you do not have to signal. Absolutely not, because it's not a left turn.
What is it?
I'm turning, it's a turnaround. That's what that's made for. There's no stop sign there.
There's a stop sign right there.
That's not where I turned around at. I turned around further up.
So you did a U-turn.
I didn't turn around right here.
Welcome back to Audit Cops. As always, we're here to raise awareness about your rights and how to assert them during interactions with public officials. We're going to dive into the key moments from real recorded police encounters. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and hit the like button to help spread this video and play a part in ending police misconduct. Always record the police. Alright, let's get started. This interaction begins with a traffic stop. I asked the officers why I was being stopped and requested their identification. They complied, and they're from the Clewiston Police Department.
You're being videoed for my protection and yours. What's your name, officer? Please identify yourself.
McLeod from the Clewiston Police Department.
And you, sir?
Officer Garza, Clewiston Police Department.
And what am I being pulled over for?
Well, two reasons. One, you made a turn back there without a turn signal. Two, we had a call about you trying to sell something at a store, and at two different stores at that, not just one. So a suspicious activity call. And we had to make out with you to see who you are and what you're doing.
Got you. Got you.
So can I have your license, please?
So what crime is that?
Well, there wasn't a crime committed because we don't know if the items are stolen or not.
Do you have suspicion that I committed a crime? Reasonable, articulable suspicion, either one of you, that I committed a crime, was about to commit a crime, was in the process of committing a crime.
Tim, are there any stipulations?
Absolutely not. Except that you abide by the law.
I am abiding by the law.
No, you're not. You're asking me for my ID illegally.
He conducted a traffic stop. That's
It's not how that
illegal.
works.
That is how,
No crime has been committed. There's no reasonable, articulable suspicion. Excuse me.
When you commit a traffic infraction,
There's no reasonable, articulable suspicion that a crime has been committed. That a crime has been committed.
It was going to be committed. How do we know the stuff you have is not stolen? We get no way to prove it. No way.
Not how that works.
It's not. No way I can prove it.
Please get your supervisor here.
Sure.
Because that's not how this works. Well, then she should know better. She should know better. And so should you, Mr. Garza.
We are allowed to step out with people who reasonably believe.
Yeah, dumbass people who don't know the law.
That doesn't have to be dumb or smart.
If I have not been suspected of committing a crime with reasonable, articulable suspicion.
Two people have called saying you in this vehicle are trying to sell them items that they don't know are stolen. We don't know are stolen.
Then there's no crime.
Can you tell me that it's not stolen?
I already told you that.
I didn't ask. So how have you told me?
Because you said that you got a phone call
items.
and I asked you if that was illegal and you said no.
Called over the radio that's you.
Here. There's my paperwork right there. Nothing illegal.
Was that so hard?
No. But you can't just get people's ID for nothing, Mr. Garza.
It's not for nothing.
It is. It is. There's policy and procedure, and there's constitutional law that you swore an oath to, my friend.
Hold on. If somebody's standing here, and they're just standing here with no kids, and they're a grown person just sitting there, that's a suspicious person.
You know, I just got a call about some officers that we had to watch out for here that were breaking the law and the people's constitutional rights.
I can assure you that's not us.
You sure it's not you?
Not me. Look,
I have suspicion to believe it's you.
Are you gonna let me finish what I'm saying so you have an understanding?
How you doing, boss?
There's a supervisor right there if you want to
speak. How you doing, supervisor? We're just getting an understanding of constitutional law here. You know, no big deal. He said he pulled me over because he got a phone call that, you know, we were selling stuff. I asked him if that's illegal. He said, no, that's not illegal, right? That's where we were at in the conversation. He asked for my ID. So I asked him again, what did we do that was illegal? For me to give you my ID, did we have any reasonable, articulable suspicion that a crime has been committed? He said no. We got a phone call. Two people said that items were trying to be sold. That's not a crime. Not here, not in Texas, not in, anywhere. It's not a crime.
My understanding is you were pulled over for a traffic offense.
That's not what I was pulled over for. Mr. Garza pulled me over. This woman pulled through here after. There was no illegal turn. That right there is a turnaround. You don't have to put your blinker on at that turnaround right there.
To make
All right. So have you identified yourself, correct?
I told him who I was right there.
Perfect. All right.
It's not stolen stuff. I'm not trying to give him a hard time, but you guys can't just pull people over and say, oh, we got a phone call. Somebody said you were selling stuff. Let me see your ID. That's not how this works. I respect the law. You guys got to respect it too. You swore an oath to it.
Okay. All right. Hold on for there. Okay. Look, my name is Sergeant Nieves, badge number 0464. All right.
You know your shit.
Clewiston Police Department. Yes. Look, we got a call at the Ace Hardware parking lot. Person just wanted to remain anonymous, saying that, hey, somebody was trying to sell a stereo in the parking lot, and that's it. They didn't request contact, nothing along those lines. All right. Look, he conducted a traffic stop. He was just trying to identify you guys. Everything's good. That's all we're trying to do.
Key word, try to identify.
That's all. Just try.
But that's not how that works.
Look, we're here, attempting to identify. That's all we're trying to do, all right?
Your name again?
Sergeant Tito Nieves. All righty, sir.
Be safe. Thank
Have a good
you.
one, okay?
And we could sell here. It's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
Especially if I got my sales tax license, correct?
If you are a business conducting business within the city, you need a tax business receipt.
Got all that.
We don't have
Alrighty.
that knowledge.
Thank you. But you can't receive that knowledge illegally.
But we can
okay?
ask you. just
Okay,
like
and
you
I can
provided.
refuse.
Yes, you can, but we still need to figure out what you're doing somewhere. So until we figure that
You
out,
could try to figure it out.
Until we figure that out, you are deemed a suspicious person. Do you understand?
Yeah, but being a suspicious person is not somebody that has been deemed reasonable, articulable suspicion of committing a crime, about to commit a crime, in the process of committing a crime, would give you the only viable and reason to ask for my ID. Period. There's no exceptions at all.
So the traffic stop means nothing.
That wasn't a traffic stop.
So you made.
You specifically
so
told
you
me,
didn't-
and you are being recorded in my
that's
truck
fine.
too.
You
You
didn't-
specifically
did not
told me when I
indicate-
asked you why I was being pulled over. You
Okay,
specifically
so when you-
stated
when you turn-
that you got a phone call
Hold on.
about suspicious activity.
I'm telling you two
when
things
she
that
pulled
happened,
up,
the reason.
when she pulled up afterwards,
Hold on.
because she came
You really
from
don't like
she
other
came
people
from
talk
this
to
way.
you. How am I
Well,
supposed to-
I'm
how am I
teaching
supposed to
you.
articulate?
How are you supposed to learn if you don't listen?
What do you mean? How are you supposed to learn if you don't listen?
I already know what the fuck I'm doing.
That's the problem with closed-minded people.
That's why I already know what I'm doing. That's
listen.
why he left. That's why you're going to leave. And that's why she left without getting my fucking ID. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I'm still conducting a traffic stop, so I do need your ID.
There's no traffic stop. For what? There's no legal
When
traffic
you
stop.
turn, do you not have to signal which way you're going?
On that turnaround right there, you do not have to signal.
Who said
Absolutely
that?
not. Because it's not a left turn.
What is it?
I'm turning, it's a turnaround. That's what that's made for. There's no stop sign there.
There's a stop sign right there.
That's not where I turned around at. I turned around further up.
So you did a U-turn.
I didn't turn around right here.
Oh, all right.
Stop trying to dig, dude. That's not how this is going to work, dude.
Hey, I'm doing what my sergeant says. Here you are, sir.
Do what the Constitution says.
10-4.
Your sergeant ain't going to cover your ass when you get sued, dude.
This video clip is a textbook example of either confusion or intentional misinterpretation of the law by police officers, and the importance of citizens knowing their rights. Unclear and contradictory basis for the initial stop. The first officer gives two different reasons for stopping the vehicle. 1. A traffic violation, failing to signal before turning, and 2. A call reporting suspicious activity, allegedly trying to sell merchandise at two different stores. Weak justification for suspicious activity. When the driver asks, "What's the crime?" the officer admits, "No crime has been committed because we don't know if the items are stolen." That's a crucial point. Merely trying to sell or selling items is not a crime, especially if the person has a business license, as the driver later proved. A call reporting suspicious activity does not automatically create legal grounds to suspect a crime has been committed or is about to be committed. Lack of reasonable, articulable suspicion. The driver uses the proper legal term, reasonable articulable suspicion, a standard lower than probable cause, but one that still requires specific, articulable facts that justify believing someone is committing, has committed, or is about to commit a crime. Selling merchandise, even if it seems suspicious to the caller, is not enough to establish RAS for a particular crime. Unlawful demand for identification. In many U.S. states, police can only legally require ID if they have RAS of a crime or during a valid traffic stop. When the officers admit that no crime was committed in relation to the merchandise, they lose the legal basis to demand ID based on the suspicious activity claim. Switching justifications by police. When the suspicious activity rationale is debunked, the officer reverts to the turn signal violation. However, the driver disputes the location of the turn and whether a signal was required, as well as whether a stop sign was present. The police shifting between justifications, especially after the first is challenged, is a major red flag. While a turn signal violation could justify a traffic stop and ID request, it has nothing to do with the original suspicious activity call. Police conduct. Both officers demonstrate a lack of understanding of the law and the limits of their authority. The first officer appears confused and makes weak arguments. The second officer, as sergeant, tries to appear more composed, but repeats the invalid justification for trying to obtain ID based on a call that didn't request contact. When the sergeant says, "I'm doing what my sergeant told me to do," it reveals a troubling dependence on hierarchy over legal knowledge. Powerful takeaway. The core lesson from this clip is that understanding your rights is your strongest shield against police overreach. Never assume police always know the law, or that they will always act lawfully. They can be wrong. They can lie. They can follow bad orders. Knowing the basics of your constitutional rights, especially the Fourth Amendment, protection against unreasonable searches and seizures, and the Fifth Amendment, the right to remain silent, is the best way to protect yourself, even when facing ignorance or stubbornness from law enforcement. The video is your undeniable evidence. And the driver's final warning is absolutely correct. Following illegal orders will not protect officers from personal liability. Like I've said many times before, the police are not your friends. You can only trust them to do the right thing if you know your rights and hold them accountable. Never comply with unlawful demands just because they're wearing a uniform. They can lie. They can fabricate charges, just like we saw in this video. This is why knowing your rights matters so much, and why helping us spread awareness is so important. So don't forget to support the channel by subscribing, liking this video, and leaving a comment to keep the conversation going. And remember, always record the police.